Hi BookTube, my name is Sarah and welcome to the Bookish Knitter. Today I am coming to you with another weekly reading vlog. So today is Sunday, it is the 24th of April. Happy 24th of April. Happy last week of April, you guys. We have exactly 7 days left in this month. And I have a ton of reading that I want to do. So I haven't done this in a while where I've had that end of the month push to get books done. But I kind of want to do that. I kind of want to try and read as much as I possibly can this week and end the month off on a high note, if you will. So I'm looking forward to that and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, right now I'm in the middle of 5 books, if you count Gone with the Wind. And one should always count Gone with the Wind. So I'm in the middle of 5 books. But what I've decided to do is, because not counting Gone with the Wind, even though you should always count Gone with the Wind, not counting Gone with the Wind, 3 out of the 4 books, the other 4 books, are on audio. So I think I'm going to back off and just do one audio at a time and get them done. And I think that is going to be a lot quicker instead of jumping between books. So we'll start off with the audiobook that I'm currently reading because I went with the one that I'm furthest through. And I'm about 25% of the way through this book, but it's not terribly long. A part of me would actually really like to get it done today, which is highly probable. So I am reading right now Murder Tightly Knit by Vanetta Chapman, which is the second book in an Amish Village mystery series. This is a cozy mystery romance series. And the first book was called Murder Simply Brewed. And then there's a third book. So eventually I'll get to the third book, but for this purposes, I'm reading book number 2, which is, of course, for Amish in April, which is taking place right now. So I am very, very much enjoying this one quite a bit. It's a fun read. It's a really fun read. So that's my plan for today. I'd like to finish that. Part of me would also really like to finish reading A Deputy in Amish Country by Patricia. I've been reading this for far too long. Yes, it's a longer book, but it's large print. I should be done it by now. But I just found I haven't been picking it up. And it's not like I'm not enjoying it, because when I do pick it up, I'm enjoying it. It's just actually picking it up. So anyway, this one's really cute. I'm not going to talk too much about it. Because like I said, I would like to get it done today. I have less than 200 pages left in it. And again, it's large print, you guys. I should be able to get this done. I have nothing else planned for today. I filmed both the videos that I wanted to film for today. And right now it is, what time is it? It's got to be before 9 a.m. I am on the ball this Sunday morning, my friends. I am on the ball. It is, just out of curiosity, it's 9:22, excuse me. It's 9:22 this morning, but I should be able to finish both of these today, I think. So that's my goal. And then the other book I'm going to be working on, I'm not going through, of course, everything that I'm going to be reading this week, because I talked about this very, very briefly in my TBR video, but I was thinking about going forward is, because I had a ridiculously big TBR for the month of May. You guys will have probably already seen it. Instead of sitting down here on Sundays, sorry for shaking the camera, sitting down here on Sundays and kind of sharing with you, this is my mini TBR for the week. So these are the books that I'd like to read this week. I don't know whether you guys would want to, or just do it as I've been doing it, this is what I'm currently reading and what have you. The only one that's going to carry over throughout the rest of this month, the rest of next month, and probably into June is Gone with the Wind, because I'm reading a chapter a day. And I'm on chapter... I didn't get as much read this week. I missed a couple days. I'm on chapter 13 right now, out of 60. So, I know I was talking to Storm yesterday over at Storm Raids, and her goal is to finish it by the end of May. And she made a comment that she's going to have to double up on some days, double up chapters on some days. And I just don't think I'm going to do that. If I take it into June, I take it into June. It is what it is. I'm really enjoying the read back through this again. I'm really enjoying reading it slowly. It's been a lot of fun, and I think this is kind of the way to get through some of these bigger books. If I finish it in early June, I'll probably just take the rest of June off from the tomes, and then maybe in July, I'm thinking about rereading the Outlander series. Taking a couple of months to read each book, and, doing it slowly, just like I've done with Gone with the Wind. So if you guys are interested in doing that with me, let me know, because I know the newest one has been released, the Bees the one that's something about bees is the title. So that's book 9. So if we took 2 months to do each book, that's like 18 months, right? So, you know, maybe sprinkling other books in, maybe taking 2 months to read Outlander and then taking a month break, and then taking 2 months to read Firefly and Amber and then taking a 2-month break or something. Or I've also got some Edward Rutherford books on my shelf that I want to read. Like I want to read New York. I want to read Paris. I want to read more by Michener. Like these are all big, thick tomes are books that I don't necessarily want to take on and say I want to finish this in a month, but something I really want to take my time with and enjoy. So let me know if you guys want to, you know, we could call it the Big Book Club or something like that. And I mean, I'll be doing them all on audio, complete transparency. I'm listening to this on audio and I'm loving it. But yeah, to just work through like a chapter a day or listen for an hour a day or challenge yourself to read 20 pages a day, whatever it is to get through some of these bigger books. And if they take a couple months, they take a couple months, and that's fine. That's fine. So yeah, so working my way back through this one. Again, I would like to get it done by the end of May, but that's probably not going to happen. But I am going to be getting some more work done on this one this week. So yeah, so that's really all that I have for this opening clip, you guys. I've got no plans for today other than reading. I need to catch up on Law & Order. I think I'm a couple episodes behind. So I'm going to catch up on Law & Order. Garrett and I are going to do that. And then tonight there's a hockey game on for him. So he's going to watch that, and I'm probably going to sit and craft. And if I can get my reading done, that's my goal, I'm going to watch some more Kara and Nate episodes. I am completely addicted. I have talked about this in my last vlog briefly. If you are a YouTube watcher and you've never heard of Kara and Nate, they are a couple in their 30s. And essentially their story is that they took, back in 2016, they quit their jobs. They'd spent a year saving up money, like saving up a lot of money. They subletted their apartment, they quit their jobs, and they took $30,000 that they saved, and they decided to spend a year traveling the world. And I mean, that is awesome, right? So then, of course, and they were vlogging the whole thing on YouTube. They started to get subscribers, started to get sponsorships, started to get all these other things, and they've pretty much just continued traveling. They have, at this point, they visited more than 100 countries and all 7 continents. Continents, excuse me. And I fell into their videos about a week and a half ago. I was looking up something else, and they did this like 4-video set of going to Antarctica, and I was immediately hooked. And I'm like, wait, they have a whole channel, and I'm literally watching their videos now from the beginning. So it's like I said to my husband, it's like watching a Netflix show. I have since 2016 now, like almost a daily vlog since 2016 to watch. And they're not terribly long videos, guys. They're anywhere from like 10 minutes to 20 minutes. I mean, they're very bite-sized, easy to watch kind of a thing. So if you're into travel, I highly recommend it. I really, really recommend it because they're absolutely delightful. And the two of them are so cute together. And yeah, I'm a big, big fan. So that's kind of the rabbit hole I've fallen down with YouTube. But because it's one of those things, it's almost like potato chip watching. Like, I'll just watch one more video. I'll just watch one more video. Because like I said, they're 10 or 20 minutes long each. I kind of wait till the end of the day, and then I let myself watch like 5 or 6 episodes, and then I usually go to bed or something like that. So yeah, but anyway, that'll be my goal when Garrett's watching the hockey game tonight, is that I can watch some Kara and Nate episodes. And it's just, I think the other thing for me is that I know I'm never ever going to see 90% of these places that they go to. And they do a fabulous job videoing these places and going to some interesting places and talking about them, and out of the way places that maybe the tourists wouldn't necessarily go to. And yeah, it's really, really interesting. So yeah, so if you've never checked out Kara and Nate, I highly recommend that you do so. So anyway, you guys, that's all that I have for today's clip. I will check in with you all tomorrow. Bye, guys. Hi, friends. Happy Tuesday. Today is the 26th of April. We have 5 days left in the month, and my goal is to finish 5 books. 5 books in 5 days. Can I do it? 3 of the books I've already started, so hopefully. And so 3 of the books I've already started, and 3 of the books are audiobooks. So I have more audiobook time than actual physical reading time because I do have a lot of admin type stuff this week. So I can often pop in an audiobook while I'm doing admin type stuff at work. Plus I'm commuting in and out of the office 3 days this week. I already did yesterday, and I still got to do Wednesday and Friday. So, and then Saturday I don't have much planned. I can get a lot done that day. I kind of like this little push at the end of the month. It's fun. I find it fun. So I didn't check in yesterday. I was in the office. It was kind of a day yesterday. But I am working from home today, so I'm very happy about that. So I thought I would sit down and share with you the fact that I finished a book yesterday, and then I'll show you what I'm currently reading. And yeah, that's pretty much about it for this clip today. So yesterday I finished listening to Murder Tightly Knit by Vanetta Chapman. This is the second book in the Amish Village mystery series, and I gave it 3.5 stars. So I like this series quite a bit. It's really, really cute. So talking to my friend Storm over at Storm Reads, I'll leave link to her channel below. She said it perfectly because, so I read the first book like last year or the year before. Now I'm reading book 2, and I probably won't read book 3 until later this year or even next Amish in April. But because she read books 1 and 2 back to back, I think she noticed this more than I did. And that this is not only a cozy mystery, this is also very much an adorable little romance. So in the first book, you get the meeting and the beginning of the relationship of Hannah and Jesse, 2 of the characters. And then in this book, that relationship kind of continues. And I think in the third book, I know where it's going to go. I don't want to say to spoil it for anybody else, but it's adorable. So the premise of this series is essentially there is this Amish village, and it's run by this woman named Amber. And essentially there's all these shops within the village. It's a very touristy type of location. And it's like, a coffee shop and a knitting shop and a quilting store and maybe a place that sells pastries or breads. And they're all worked at by Amish people. So Amber and this village is, kind of giving jobs to the Amish outside of just working on the farm, which is fantastic. I think it's adorable. So Amber and Hannah's an Amish woman, have become very good friends. Amber is not Amish. She definitely has a Christian belief, but she is not Amish. But she knows a lot about the faith. She understands them, which makes her a really, really great manager within this little community. So in the first book, there was a murder that happened and what have you. And then in this one, there's been another murder. A local Amish man has been murdered, and it's kind of up to Hannah and Amber to figure out the whodunit. So like I said, within this is definitely a romance. It's really adorable, again, between Hannah and her boyfriend. I don't know, is that what the Amish call it? Jesse. They're seeing each other, I suppose. They're both kind of struggling with, should they get married, should they not? It's very, very cute the way the story ends. I really liked this. I mean, at the end of the day, this is really cute. Now, the one thing you need to remember about Vanetta Chapman, if you're jumping into this thinking, oh, this is going to be a really cute Amish cozy mystery, similar to, the ones that Amanda Flower writes with the Amish candy shop or the Amish matchmaker, this is a little different in the sense that this is definitely more devout than those books. The Amanda Flower books might gloss over the religious aspect of the Amish, like just kind of mention that, this gets into it. This really does get into the faith and how much they believe and what they believe. And, there's a scene in here, even Amber's faith is very much prominent within this book. There's a scene where she has a prayer circle with some other women at work. So do know going in that if you think that you're jumping into this cozy mystery series thinking it's just going to be a cute, fun Amish cozy, it's definitely more inspirational. So if that's what you're looking for, this is definitely the way you want to go. Whereas Amanda Flowers are not. And they both have their merits. And I think that they both work really, really well. And I did enjoy this one, even though the faith-based aspect is not something that I adhere strictly to, if you will. I was still able to appreciate it for what it was, but this is definitely not a series that I could binge read back to back to back because of the very inspirational faith-based parts of this book. They're not something that personally resonates with me, but they definitely will with some people, and I think it's wonderful for, I liked it. 3.5 stars. I liked it. So what am I currently reading? We are continuing on the Amish in April train, and I am trying to finish this one today. But again, I was at the office yesterday, so I didn't get a lot of physical reading time. But I'm reading A Deputy in Amish Country by Patricia, and I am almost done. I am so close. I've got like 3 or 4 chapters left. So my game plan is to get this done today. Today, that's my goal, is to get this one done today. So I am hopeful. I'm enjoying it a lot. I will talk about it tomorrow because I'm getting it done today, people. And then I am listening on audio to these next 2 books. But I do have a copy here to show you the cover. So again, for Amish in April, I am reading Premeditated Peppermint. Speaking of Amanda Flower, the third book in the Amish Candy Shop Mystery Series. This is a holiday-themed one. I don't have much left on this either, and I have a lot of admin stuff to do here at home today, so I might even get this one done too. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, my friends, I can get this one done as well. But again, I will talk about this one in the next day or so when I finish it. And last but not least, I am reading Pride, Prejudice, and Other Flavors by Sonali Dev. This is the first book in her Raja series, I believe. And it's a 4-book series, and they all kind of are based upon Jane Austen works, but follow a family, an Indian-American family in San Francisco. So, of course, this one follows sort of Pride and Prejudice. From my understanding, it is a gender swap of Pride and Prejudice. So, I did go ahead last week, and I kind of read, like, the Coles Notes version of Pride and Prejudice, because I did read it a couple years ago, but I wanted to really remember it. So, I did that. And now I'm jumping into this. So I will report back more when I've gotten a little bit further. I've only really just started this one, but I am listening to this one on audio as well from Scribed. And I really love the narrator on this one. So I will report back more when I get more of this done. But anyway, guys, that's it for today's clip. I will talk to you later. Bye, guys. Morning BookTube, happy Thursday. Today's the 28th of April. I am looking like I'm laughing, maybe crying. I just did the intro to this little clip, and I just thought I'm like, oh, hold on, I'm just gonna have a sip of coffee. And it totally went down the wrong way. So I just went into a coughing fit. But anyway, we're back. So happy Thursday again, everybody. We have 3 more days until the end of the month. Today, tomorrow, and Saturday. And I would like to potentially finish reading 1, 2, 3, 4 books in 3 days. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. We shall see. So I am working from home today, which is fantastic. Tomorrow I do have to go into the office. And Saturday I am busy on Saturday. I am doing a recording for the podcast in the morning, which is fine. That's a non-issue. And then I'm actually going to be in a live show at 12 noon. I think it's 12 noon Eastern Standard Time over at Tiffany over at the Beach Bum Bookworm over on her channel. But it's reading sprints, and they'd like to do like good long reading sprints. So I should get some good reading done during that time. And then, pardon me, I've got the hiccups now. And then at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday, I'm doing a live show of reading sprints. So I'm hoping there I will get some more reading done as well. Plus Friday night, I'm going to be doing reading sprints over on Storm's channel at Storm Reads. I'll leave link to all these other people's channels below. But I should get some really good reading stuff done. So I'm really excited. But yeah, like I said, 4 books in 3 days. One of them's a novella. I'll talk about those all in a minute. But I wanted to sit down. Sorry for not doing a clip yesterday. I was in the office, and then I got busy last night, and life and, stuff happens. But I do now have 2 books to share with you that I finished yesterday. So yeah, I finished 2 books yesterday, you guys. So the first one that I finished yesterday was A Deputy in Amish Country by Patricia. So this is a Harlequin heartwarming novel. It's number 411, and it was originally published in March of 2022. So of course I read this one for Amish in April, and I ended up giving this book 4 stars. I thought it was so, so cute. So the premise of the story is about our main character named Annabelle, and she has witnessed a crime. She works at the bank, and she witnessed a man shoot and kill an employee, like a security guard. And the thing is that she knows who he is. Like, she is familiar with him because she dated him a couple years earlier. So right now, the police department does not know that she had prior relationship with the accused. So anyway, this deputy, his name is Conrad. He lives in a farm. He lives at a farm with his brother. And his brother's story is actually going to be next. It's going to come out this fall, and I'm very, very excited about it. So they live at this farm, and it's really in the middle of Amish country. So all around them are Amish families and things like that. So Conrad feels that it's a very good place to hide Annabelle. So he brings her to his place, and it's him and his brother, and she's staying there at this house in like a safe house. And right next door, they have these Amish neighbors, and they are absolutely delightful. They have a little girl named Jane. So it's a single dad, his mother, and the daughter. That's the Amish family that lives next door. But Jane, which is our adorable little girl here on the cover, she is so cute. She is so cute. So she's constantly coming over to Conrad and Wilder's house. Wilder's the brother. And she wants to know all the things because, of course, being Amish and being a child, like, for one, she's Amish, so she doesn't know a lot of the things that they have. But a child's general curiosity for all the things, right? And she'll come over and she'll, like, stare at the microwave and want to press the buttons, and she's kind of obsessed with the television and, things like that. And, her father she understands that that's not how her family lives, but it's still very interesting to her, and it's a child's general curiosity. So they feature heavily in the book. But yeah, I don't want to say too much else about it because, of course, there's some stuff that's happening. It seems like somebody's found out where Annabelle is, and there's that little bit of suspense, if you will, within this book. But at the heart of the story, it is a romance between, of course, Annabelle and Conrad. It seems to happen very quickly. But they did know each other prior to her, like, going to stay with him in this safe house because they used to work at a soup kitchen together, which was great. So this is a sweet romance. There is no adult content in this book at all, which is the heartwarming books. But the difference is there is no faith element. So, you do have Amish characters in this story, but there's no faith discussion. Not like there would be in a love-inspired book. So I really, really like this one, you guys, and I absolutely recommend it. If you are someone who likes a closed door or sweet romance, it was really cute and a lot of fun, and I liked it a lot. So that was the first book I finished yesterday. The second book that I finished yesterday was Premeditated Peppermint by Amanda Flower, which is the third book in the Amish Candy Shop Mystery Series. I thought this one was really cute. I gave this one 4 stars as well. It is Christmas themed. So essentially what has happened is there's a little bit of a backstory with this series. I've been reading them in order. I know, rare for me, right? Sort of. I think I went to like book 2, then back to book 1, and now I'm on book 3. And I have jumped ahead and read one of the novellas that comes out later in the series because I got it from NetGalley. I think I read it last Christmas. But anyway, so the premise of this cozy mystery series is about our main character, Bailey. And Bailey's father was Amish. And he was like raised Amish, but decided not to join the church. So he left. He was never baptized. He moved and he married Bailey's mother, an Englisher. And they had Bailey, and then Bailey has been living in New York City, and, she's a chocolatier, she's a candy maker, but she gets that from her grandparents, like her Amish grandparents, her dad's parents are both Amish candy makers, and they have a shop in this little town called Harvest in Ohio. And in the first book in the series, this isn't a spoiler, this is kind of the premise for the series, Bailey's grandfather passes away. So Bailey comes up to help her grandmother kind of run the shop, and she ends up staying. And then over the course of the books, murders take place in this small town, and she's our amateur sleuth. There's a gentleman by the name of Aiden who is he works in the police department. I can't remember if he's a deputy or not, or the sheriff. I can't remember. But he works within the police department. So that's kind of the premise for this series. It's really cute. Really, really delightful. Unlike the Vanetta Chapman one that I just finished the other day, this one does not have the religious undertones that the Amish Village Mystery Series did have. And that's each to your own. So, like, whatever you are more comfortable with, if the religious aspect of it, a lot of discussion of faith within your cozy reading experience is not something you're interested in, then maybe shy away from the Amish Village mystery series and maybe try one of these books instead. Because, again, like I've been coining the phrase, they are almost Amish adjacent because our main character, Bailey, is not Amish. Just like in this book, you know, the main characters are not Amish, but it does take place in Amish country. It does feature Amish characters. And it's cute. And I do like this one a lot. So it is a Christmas themed book. So in this one, this this television crew from New York City has come to Harvest, and Bailey's ex-boyfriend's name is Eric, and they were dating in New York, and then they split up, and he has a TV show on, it's called Gourmet TV, but it sounds like the Food Network, and he's kind of like an angry Gordon Ramsay type chef, it sounds like, and they need to soften his image, so they're going to do a special. And he's like, oh yeah, my girlfriend lives in Amish country and blah, blah, blah. So they head off there, unbeknownst to Bailey, and are like, hey, we want you to be in this special. Oh, and we want you to pretend to be Eric's girlfriend. She's like, no. So anyway, of course, a murder takes place. It's the producer of this television show, and the story goes from there. I really enjoyed it. 4 stars. I thought this was absolutely adorable. I do love this series. And I'll talk about how much I love the series in just a second when you see what I'm currently reading. So, so I finished that one yesterday as well. So, yay on that. I have one more book. Am I reading it? No, I'm not currently reading it. I have one more book that I would like to finish for Amish in April, which would put me at 6 books, maybe 7. So we shall see. But yeah, so what am I currently reading? So, you guys have already seen that I've already started Pride, Prejudice, and Other Flavors. I did not get a lot of this read yesterday. I listened to some of it on my drive home from the office, but not a ton. So I was focused really on trying to finish the Premeditated Peppermint yesterday. So not a lot of other stuff got read. And, of course, A Deputy in Amish Country. So, yeah, I've got this one to dive back into, and I'm very much looking forward to it. And then I picked up 2 new books yesterday because I like to have a couple on the go. So yesterday I started, this is the one that you guys voted on my last Friday Pick My Weekend read, or pick it up sometime randomly the next week read. And that's Isn't It Bromantic by Lyssa K. Adams. I got a good part of the way through this one was kind of like a potato chip listen, like this one I listened to a little bit of it yesterday, but not a ton. But this one, really, I was listening to quite a bit yesterday. So I did enjoy this one. This is the Russian story. I talked about it on that Friday video. This is the 4th book in the Bromance Book Club series. I have read all of these in order. The 5th book comes out this fall, and it's a Christmas-themed book. So I'm very excited about getting this one done and being caught up on this series, and then being able to read the newest book when it is released. I will talk more about this one. Actually, this one's a pretty simple premise. Our main character's name is Vlad, and he is a hockey player who emigrated over from Russia to play hockey for the NHL. And he brought with him his childhood friend and sweetheart named, what is her name again? Elena. She wanted into the U.S. because she wanted to go to college or university in the U.S. So essentially, they did a fake marriage. Like, they are legally married, but it's on paper only for her to get into the country, for her to go to this university and get her schooling, right? While he plays hockey in the NHL. So when the book begins, it's essentially Elena's, he has said to her, now that he knows that she's almost done school, that, I'd really like to try this as a real marriage kind of an idea. And she kind of says to him, no, that's not what I want to do. And she's going to go back to Russia. So that's where we're at, is that he's going to try he was thinking about trying to win her back. So then what happens is, and this isn't spoilers because this all happens in the first chapter or so of the book, that Vlad, he gets, I just always want to refer to him as the Russian because that's how he's been referred to in the first 3 books, that he is very seriously injured in a hockey playoff game. He breaks his tibia and has to have surgery. So they call her because, of course, she's still listed as his wife. They haven't divorced or anything yet. So she's been trying to think of a way to repay him for everything that he has done for her. Like, he brought her to America. He paid for all of her schooling. He paid for her apartment. All these things because he makes big money in the NHL. She wants to somehow repay him. So she agrees to kind of take care of him while he's recuperating. and their romance, I guess, or second chance romance, if you will, is going to go from there. And so far, I am loving it. It's delightful. I just love this series so much. So that is where we are at on that one. And I'll report back more as I get more read. And then the other book, like I said, I finished Premeditated Peppermint. Love the series. And I was looking last night to see what's the next book? And generally, I'm not one who reads novellas. I really do need to make a list of the novellas that I have missed, because I jump around so much in series that I don't think to read the novellas. But I'd really like to make a list of the novellas that I need to read, and maybe every now and then, if I just want a quick read, pick up the novella. But I looked, and I saw that there's a novella after book 3, after the one I just finished, in the Amish Candy Shop Mystery Series, and it is actually Easter themed. And we just had Easter, right? 2 weeks ago. So I thought, it's an 89-page ebook from Kindle. Just read it. So I am. Criminally Coco by Amanda Flower, book 3.5 in the Amish in the Amish Candy Shop Mystery Series. Now, here's what I wanted to talk about very quickly. So I'm only one chapter into this. Essentially, Bailey is in New York City working on a television show, potentially of her own, on that gourmet network, and she brings with her Charlotte, which is her grandmother's cousin, but Bailey and Charlotte are about the same age. And Charlotte is still kind of on her rumspringa, as they call it. She hasn't been baptized into the Amish church yet, or into the Amish faith yet, I should say. So she can still kind of do these other things that maybe the church district would kind of wag their finger at and say, no, you can't do that under normal circumstances. So she's gone to New York with Bailey, and I guess someone gets murdered, and the story goes from there. Again, it's 89 pages long, or I don't even know if somebody's going to be murdered, because as somebody was saying, because I think I found that with the novella I read also in the series, is that the novellas typically don't have a murder. They have something else happen. So I'm very interested. But anyway, on to my observation. So last night, as I was listening to Premeditated Peppermint, because I did listen to it on audio, I thought that the crime had been solved, right? They're like, oh, it was so-and-so. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I look, I'm like, so I must be finished the book. And I still have an hour and a half of listening time. I'm like, okay, so clearly they got the wrong person. Or then you start thinking to yourself, is it a situation where, because this often happens, at the back of the book, is there a bonus story or something like that? Do you know what I mean? So I looked, and the book, I don't have a copy of Premeditated Peppermint, but it's available on Kindle Unlimited. So I went and quickly downloaded it last night. So I jumped ahead to where I was in the story and realized, no, there's still 8 more chapters. So as I was sitting there, I was in these reading sprints with Stormy and Tiffany and Mr. Francie. I had the audio going in my ear, and I was reading the book, reading it on my Kindle, following along. Now, full disclosure, I used to think that was the stupidest thing in the world. When people, I'll be honest, when people would say that, they're like, yeah, I'm totally listening to the audio and I am following along with the book. I'd always think, well, what's the point? You're listening to the audio. Why do you need to follow along with the book? I don't understand. I think I understand now, you guys. It was really enjoyable. It's not something I would do all the time. Clearly, if I'm driving back and forth to work, I'm not going to be reading the book and following along, listening to the audio and following along in the book, because, I gotta drive. But if I'm just sitting around, why not? I think it gave me a bit of a better understanding of the book, almost like you're taking it in twice, because the speed that I listen to it at is the same speed I read at. So it's a very natural thing for me. So yeah, I enjoyed it. Whether I continue doing it or not, but I did start doing it for Criminally Coco, because I did download the audiobook from this one from Hoopla. It's only 3 hours long on audio. So yeah, so I am listening to it on audio and reading the e-copy at the same time. So, for all those people that do that, and I thought that you were silly for doing so, my sincerest apologies, because I get it. I think I understand now, so that's a good thing. But anyway, guys, that's all that I have for the clip for today. I've been looking at my eye in the mirror. It's all, I hope it doesn't puff up too much. Can you guys see the red? I have a little sore on my eye, underneath. So yeah, that's what that is. So, it's not, I'm not sick or anything like that. It's just whatever. But anyway, guys, that's it. I'm rambling. I will check in with you guys tomorrow. Take care, guys. Bye. Hi guys, happy Friday. Today is the 29th of April. 2 days, countdown, 2 days until the end of the month. Guys, I have 3 books I need to finish. I finished one yesterday and I have 3 more to finish because I started another one yesterday. Why did I do that? I don't know why I did that, but I did it. It's a thing. So anyway, I did relieve some pressure off of myself because I was feeling a little bit stressed out. So, sorry, I'm kind of putting books away as I talk to you guys because I got to get ready and head out the door to work very soon. But I just filmed a video for the great people over at Harlequin. So there will be a new video for me coming out over on the Harlequin YouTube channel. Sometime in the month of May, I will of course let you guys know when. But it's essentially how I fell in love with romance. And the books that made me fall in love with the romance genre. So it's going to be a super fantastic video. I'm really looking forward to you guys seeing it. But that being said, I may have talked about these 2 books, you guys. So anyway, yeah, so I get nervous about filming those videos. Full transparency to you guys because I tell you guys just about all the things. So I get super nervous filming those videos. And the reason is because they need to be done like you're doing them for someone else. So like for myself shooting these videos, like how much have I actually looked at the camera while talking to you guys just now? I'm like doing other things and that's okay. You guys are cool with it, right? But for somebody else's channel, I need to be like, you know, you're doing it to someone else's standards essentially, right? And it just makes me very nervous. I just feel like, you know, I've got to be perfect and there's no perfect, but I'm doing the best that I can, right? And I'm really, really happy with those videos, but I did shoot this one in one take and I wanted it that way because I wanted it to be a lot more conversational. So it'll be fun. Once I edit it, we'll see what happens, but I did just do it in one take and I might edit out a little bit of it because it was a little bit longer than I anticipated. But that's okay. So that's what editing is for, right? And I also do have to shoot a very quick little TikTok for them as well, which is super interesting. I have not ever done a TikTok before, so I'm going to give it a try. It only needs to be 30 to 60 seconds, so it'll be nice and quick. So I plan on doing that this afternoon. But anyway, back to what I was saying. It does cause me a little bit of anxiety because I kept thinking, I'm like, I've got to shoot that video this weekend. I've got to shoot that video this weekend. Plus I have like videos for myself to do for my own channel. You know, Sunday is usually my filming day and I have to do my end of the month wrap up this Sunday. And I've got a digital book haul that's going to be coming to you guys next week. So I've got to film that. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, I got to get all that done plus the Harlequin video. And the Harlequin video, again, causes me a little bit of anxiety. But I had time this morning and I'm like, I got up a bit early this morning. I got showered and dressed and I thought just sit down and just film the video. So that's what I did. And I am super happy it's done. I can edit it at my leisure this weekend and send it off to them and get the TikTok one done. That one should be fairly straightforward to do. Like I said, it's only got to be 30 to 60 seconds. I'm just going to pretty much hold up some books and be like, these are the books. Because it's kind of like a companion video, like a very short companion video to the one that's going to go up on the YouTube channel. So reading. I hope to get a lot of reading done today. I'm going to be doing a live show tonight over on Stormy's channel, some live reading sprints. And I do have to go into the office today for until 3 o'clock. And then I'll be coming home at 3 like I always do. And I'll have the rest of the, I'll have the commute in and out to listen to audio. I am going to be working on this one, which is, of course, Pride, Prejudice, and Other Flavors by Sonali Dev. And I'm hoping to get a good chunk of this. I would like to finish this today. That's kind of my goal. Where am I in this book? I am on chapter 12. I'm that far into it, okay? I'd like to finish it today. Then that would allow me tomorrow to finish the Bromance, Isn't It Bromantic, book 4 in the Bromance Book Club series. And in and amongst that, I don't have it here in front of me. I did start an ebook last night. So if you saw way back at the beginning of the month, my Amish in April TBR, I talked about the fact that I wanted to read a book by Debbie Gunsey, I think. It's a love-inspired suspense, and it was called Amish Rescue. Well, I pulled it off my shelves, and I looked, and it's the 3rd book in the series. And I know I joke around all the time that I can read books out of order. It doesn't really bother me. But this part of me is kind of like, you know, there's nothing wrong with reading books in order. Just because you don't own I think that's my bigger thing, is that I don't have a copy of it. So I don't have a copy of the first book, so I'm not going to read it yet. I'm going to go ahead and read book 3 because I have it. But then I'm like, but why? So yesterday, super proud of myself, I had some credit on Amazon. I bought myself a copy of the first book for my Kindle. So I am reading Amish Refuge right now, which is the first book in that series. And I will show you guys that tomorrow because I'm not going to get it done today. My goal is to get, like I said, this, Isn't It Bromantic, and that Amish book done by tomorrow night. If I can do that, that puts me at 23 books for the month. That is my best month of the year so far. Granted, it's only May, but that's our 5th month in. So, like, I think in January I read 13 books. February was my worst month with 10, but again, I was in the hospital. March, it's not May, it's April. I'm like, what month did I do whatever in? In March, I read 20 books. So I'm at 20 books as we speak right now for the month of April. So that's exciting. And not that I'm trying to be like, oh, I want to read like 60 books in a month. That's not my goal. But I have all these books I want to read, and I want to read them pretty much. And I did spend some time yesterday, even though I have the physical copy of this, as well as Isn't It Bromantic? I was reading them on audio, so I had my earbud in, and I was physically reading the book, which, again, I mentioned it yesterday. I'm really enjoying that, you guys. I won't be doing that in the car, like I said, on my way to work, but it's kind of a really fun way to read. So anyway, I've been enjoying that. And I just looked at the camera. I'm like, have I been filming this whole time? Please tell me I've been filming this whole time. But I have been. So anyway, guys, I gotta go change my shirt. I put this on for the video just because it felt fancy. But if you guys want a good laugh, clearly I am not matching right now because my pants are plaid. Plaid pants with a pretty flowered, it's just one of those like, it's just a wrap kind of an idea, but I just think it's really, really pretty. So I just kind of threw it on, and I never get to wear it because it's kind of not appropriate really for the office, I wouldn't say. Because it feels like, I don't know, not lingerie, but you know, it's flowy. It feels like something you'd wear to like a concert. So yeah, but I thought, oh, it'll be perfect for the video. So I've got to go put on my gray sweater that I wear to the office and head off to work. And yeah, so I may check in with you guys tonight. I will check in with you guys tonight because this entire conversation, I did not tell you about the fact that I finished reading. What time is it? Do I have a few minutes? I have a few minutes. All right, so we're going to tell you about it now. Yesterday I finished reading Criminally Coco by Amanda Flower. It is the book 3.5. in the Amish Candy Shop series. And this one, what I really like about the, because this is the second novella that I've read in the series. I read one further along that I got from NetGalley, and I think I read it last Christmas. I think I mentioned that already. But the novellas don't deal with a murder, which I kind of love. So in this one, Bailey is in New York City, and she is kind of working on her own TV show for the Gourmet Food Network, like the Food Network. And all these accidents are kind of happening on set that someone is trying to sabotage her. And her grandmother's cousin, Charlotte, is there with her. So I guess her second cousin is there with her. And this Amish girl in New York City, which I wish the author would have talked more about that, because it would have been interesting. And yeah, so Charlotte is, and the entire series, is it told in first person? I don't know if the series, I don't think it's told in first person, but it's definitely told from Bailey's perspective. Whereas the novellas are told from Charlotte's perspective, which is kind of fun. So yeah, I liked it. I ended up giving it 3.5 stars, but it did remind me why I don't read series books back to back to back. The reason is because there's usually a character or something that has happened that annoys me. And in this series, to be honest, is her name Judith or Juliet? Jethro's mother, the Detective Brody, the love interest of Bailey, his mother, if you've read the series, you know exactly what I'm talking about. She annoys the bejesus out of me. She is all about that pig, that, like, this is her baby, this is her pig, and isn't anybody worried about the pig? And she's just a little to this side of annoying. And I was like, I'm so glad this is a novella because I couldn't put up with her for an entire book. So yeah, did not love her, but anyway, I finished it. Later on in a month or two, I'm hoping to jump into the next book in the series. I think it's called Toxic Toffee, but I'm really loving this series. It's absolutely delightful, and if you have not checked it out, I recommend that you do so. Yeah, because it's super, super cute. So there, I did my review, and it is now 9:35, and I am heading out the door because I want to make a stop at McDonald's this morning because I'm feeling like I need an iced coffee. So yeah, so I will talk to you guys, if not tonight, definitely tomorrow. Talk to you guys then. Bye. Hi friends, happy Sunday. Yeah, it's Sunday today. I am ending this vlog, and then I'm going to be filming a couple more videos, and then I'm going to be starting the vlog that you guys are going to see next week. So, I am delayed. I meant to jump on yesterday, but unfortunately I was up until just before midnight finishing my last book of the month of April. So I am here just very quickly to do reviews for the last two books I finished in the month of April, and then we have a clean, fresh slate for May, which is very exciting. So the first one that I finished earlier yesterday morning, I was out and about doing some errands and stuff, and I was listening to this in the car as I was doing those errands, and I finished reading Pride, Prejudice, and Other Flavors by Sonali. This is the first book in the Rajas series. It is a 4-book series about a family, an Indian American family in San Francisco. So this is the story of Trisha and DJ. All 4 of the books in this series I don't know how, tightly or how closely some of the books follow the actual original Jane Austen work, but they are all inspired by Jane Austen's books. So this one, of course, is inspired by Pride and Prejudice. I did go ahead, because it's been a few years since I've read Pride and Prejudice, and I kind of read like the Coles Notes version, like a very basic of to what the plot was for it, so I would remember. And I feel personally that you don't need to have read one to read the other. I was able to read this one just as it was. I really enjoyed it. Now, I'm sure there were probably, for those people who are really big fans of Austen's work, who like reread her books all the time and are extremely familiar with the books, may pick up on some extra things in here that I have missed, maybe inside jokes kind of an idea. But for the telling of the story and being able to follow the plot, I no way needed the Pride and Prejudice reference. Let's put it that way. So this is the story, as I said, about Trish and DJ. So Trish, is it Trish or Trisha? I always forget. Trisha, it is Trisha. She is a very well-renowned doctor. She's a neurosurgeon, actually. And she has developed this technology that can take, with robotics to take, tumors out of very delicate tissue in the brain and things like that. And DJ is a Michelin-starred restaurant chef. And at the beginning of the book, DJ's sister Emma has a tumor, and she has been told that she's terminal. There's nothing that can be done, and she comes to Dr. Raja, Trisha, to see if she can help her. And Trisha's like, "Yes, I can save your life. You don't have to be terminal." However, in order to extract this tumor, we are going to need to severely damage your optical, whatever it is. Essentially, Emma is going to go blind. And Emma is obviously having a very difficult time with this. And DJ quits his job in Paris at this restaurant, comes to San Francisco to be with his sister. And, the story kind of goes from there. And of course, it's the relationship between DJ and Trisha. It's a hate. They do not like each other right from the get-go. He finds her very stuck up. She finds him to be a little, the Pride and Prejudice aspect of it, like not the book part, but just the words themselves, Pride and Prejudice, really factor into this. Both of them are very prideful. They both have prejudices against each other, and not in the sense of diversity or anything at all like that, but the fact that, he thinks that she's just not a nice person. She's very good at her job, but she's not very nice. So he has this prejudice against her, assuming that she's a spoiled little rich girl kind of a scenario. And so it was really good. Now, the reason it got 4 stars, now usually this is like, I love her books, and I did love this book, so don't get me wrong, but it was not a 4.5 or 5-star read for me. And the reason was because my bigger investment in this book was not in the relationship between Trisha and DJ. It was in Emma. I wanted to know all about Emma. I wanted to know, like, as she struggled with this very, very major decision. Now, you think about it as I'm reading the book, I'm like, well, how could you even ask that question? Like, I would save my life every day over losing my sight, but she's an artist. This is her life. You know, like, she relies on sight to do what she loves to do. And I think faced with the same position, I think a lot of us might struggle with that. Even if it was briefly, it's still something that we would have to stop and think about, maybe, right? So yeah, I enjoyed this one a lot. I was very invested in Emma and her story, but I did like the relationship. It was a very, very, very slow burn. Nothing happens until the very, very end. It is actually also a closed door romance. So yeah, I enjoyed it a lot, you guys, and I'm very much looking forward to getting on to the next one, which is called A Recipe for Persuasion. So, in June, I think, or July, whenever Jane Austen, is it Jane Austen July? Rainy from Rainy Day Reads and I are going to read Persuasion. We're going to buddy read Persuasion. And then in August, I will read the second book in this series, because I have not read Persuasion, but I want to read it so I have a bit of groundwork before I go into that book. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. But yeah, I enjoyed this one, you guys. 4 stars. If you are an Austen fan, you might really enjoy it. Like I said, there are probably a lot more references in here that I did not get. I did know that, like, DJ's actual name is actually Darcy James. So, of course, Mr. Darcy, right, from Pride and Prejudice. And then Emma is another character in an Austen novel. There is the book Emma, which was a little confusing because I was looking ahead, and the newest book that just came out or is coming out is called The Emma Project. And I didn't know if it was in reference to that Emma, but it doesn't seem to be. So I don't know. I'm very, very interested to find out. So I don't want to read too far ahead in the series, you know, like, I don't want to jump ahead. But yeah, I do recommend this if you are, if you love contemporary romance, or if you're an Austen fan, you might really enjoy this one. And the last book that I finished for the month of April, this has happened to me before, was actually my favorite book of the month. So I'm very excited. This is the one I stayed up until midnight last night to finish. Isn't It Bromantic by Lyssa K. Adams, the 4th book in the Romance Book Club series. It is not the final book, though. The newest book comes out this fall, and it's called A Very Merry Bromance. It's a Christmas-themed one, and I'm so excited. It's Colton's story, and I love Colton, too. But this was Vlad's story, The Russian. So I loved this one so much. This book just had me smiling the whole way through. It's so charming. I love the friendship between the guys, between Vlad and the other guys in the Bromance Book Club. There's like a great... So, okay, let me back up. The plot of this book is that the prior plot, you don't necessarily need to have read the first 3 books, but I recommend it because the series is just so, so good. But in the previous books, you know that Vlad has a wife. Like, it's mentioned in passing, he's got this wife. So in the last book, it's mentioned a little bit more, and in this one, of course, you fully get the story, that they were childhood best friends in Russia, and she wanted to go to a university in America. So they marry each other. Like, he marries her so she can get a visa, because he's already living in the U.S. playing for the NHL. He's a hockey player. And he brings her over, and this was 6 years prior to the start of this book. And they live together for a very brief period of time, but don't have a marriage, if you catch my drift. And then she goes to Chicago to become a journalist. Her father was a journalist in Russia, you know, investigating corruption and things like that. Of course, very, very dangerous. And she kind of wants to follow in his footsteps. So at the start of this book, 6 months prior to the start of this book, it's one of the main characters' weddings. One of the other guys in one of the books, I cannot remember whose wedding it was. Braden's. It was Braden's wedding. So they're at Braden's wedding, and Elena, which is Vlad's wife, shows up. And he tells her he wants them to have an actual marriage now that she's done her schooling and what have you. And she turns him down and says, no, I'm going back to Russia. So then you flash forward 6 months, and she's still finishing up her school, so she's still in the U.S. And Vlad is playing in the playoffs for the NHL. Stanley Cup, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a hockey person. You don't have to be a hockey person to love this book. That was one of the great things. And an accident happens and he completely snaps his tibia in his leg, which just... Ugh. So he needs help. So they call Elena because, of course, she's listed still as his wife because they're not divorced or anything yet. She comes to the hospital and then she ends up moving in with him briefly to help him recuperate. And, of course, the story goes from there. And the guys in the Bromance Book Club are, like, helping push them back together again. There's this group of women who live in the neighborhood called the Lonely Club, I think. And they're all, like, either widows or divorced women. And they have Vlad as one of their members. And, you know, they don't much like Elena because she left him, kind of an idea. So, again, this book is just so charming. So intermixed in between, like with the Bromance Book Club, the whole plot of the, if you've never heard of these books before, is it's these group of guys who read romance novels in order to figure out how to better understand and woo, if you will, the females in their life. So in each of the books, they're usually reading a romance novel. So you're getting interdispersed, like in amongst the actual plot of the story, you're getting this secondary story, a story within a story of this romance novel that they're reading. And it usually ties into whatever's happening in the main book. In this one, it's not a romance novel written by someone else. It's Vlad is writing a romance novel, and it's a historical, and it's again, this entire book just made me smile. Guys, seriously. I loved it. It is my favorite in the series. And yeah, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. So yeah, so that was a great ending to the month of April. So anyway, guys, that's it. I have to, what I'm going to do is edit the vlog and then film all the rest of the videos I have to film. So yeah, hopefully I can get this vlog up at some point so it's not too late today for you guys. And until my next video, everybody, take care and happy reading. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye, guys.